Even as an adult, I still carry fear. Not of all people, but especially ones who act like a man I knew as a child. My godfather, Lee. I was born in Georgia. My mother was 16. My father, 36. Legal, but not right. She left him when I was 1 because he was abusive. He never hit me, but he was emotionally cold and dishonest. He never told me he loved me, but he did love telling stories. One story he repeated often was how he met my godfather Lee at a gas station in the early 1980s. Lee, a white man, called him a racial slur. Later that night, my dad saved him from being robbed at gunpoint. From that moment on, Lee said my dad was different and became his friend. Eventually, business partner. My dad even asked Lee to be my godfather. When I was 12, I finally got to visit my dad for the summer. One night, my skin prickled. The air felt thick. At the bottom of the stairs was a mannequin in full KKK robes. The walls were covered in Confederate flags, nooses, lynching memorabilia, and white power signs. I froze. Lee appeared out of nowhere and said, smiling, "That room's off limits. Don't tell your daddy. He knows, but it don't need to be remembered." I left immediately, told my dad I was sick and wanted to go home early. He didn't ask questions, just drove me back. I brought it up. My dad just said, "Sometimes a man's got ghosts. As long as they don't haunt you, you let 'em be." But they do haunt me. I still get nervous around certain white men. The ones who smile too fast, who say things like, "You're not like the others," who carry themselves the way Lee did. Fake, calm, polite, but full of something darker. And I'll be honest, this experience damaged my trust in men overall, including black men. He then told me to be quiet about it. I don't hate all white people, and I don't hate all men. But fear, it learned its shape early, and it hasn't left me. It has affected my everyday life and how I view white people in general. How do I reverse this? I'm 36 and terrified of white people. I can't get those images out my head. Years ago, I was driving home from a family reunion, pretty late at night, and the drive was about 2 hours. I didn't stay the night because I had to be back for work the following day. Most of the drive was on roads with dense bushes and trees on either side. The real creepy ones you see a lot in movies. Anyway, I had been driving about 45 minutes, and I was starting to get really tired. You know how sometimes you just suddenly become really tired out of nowhere? Well, yeah, that happened to me. I knew I wasn't going to last, but I didn't come across any place that I felt I could park and safely sleep. Anyway, after it became clear to me that I wasn't going to find a place to pull up, and my tiredness wasn't going away, I did something very questionable. I pulled over to the side of the road onto the grass, behind some bushes, to try and hide my car from anybody else who was going to come past. The roads weren't empty. I came across another car every few minutes or so. I made a mental note that the time was 11:22 and then fell asleep. Sometime later, I was awoken by a scratching sound. I looked at the clock, 11:50. The sound stopped after a few seconds, and because I was still extremely tired, I didn't bother looking around and simply went back to sleep. I was later awoken by the same sound, and it was now 12:40. This time it really freaked me out because the sound didn't stop. The thought ran across my mind that it was just an animal inspecting the car. But why would it return almost an hour after it had left the previous time? I looked in my rearview mirror and just managed to catch a glimpse of something running away into the forest. Now, at the time, I thought it was the damn hook killer. You know, the one that scratched that couple's car and then slaughtered the guy when he got out to investigate. So I got the hell out of there. There was a bend no more than 100 yards up the road, and as I came around, there was a fucking car. Parked off to the side of the road, with the driver's side door opened. I slowed down just to look to see if anyone was in there. There wasn't. Then I looked in my rear view mirror. I didn't see anything. And all of a sudden, this guy comes sprinting around the corner. He starts screaming at me, shouting stuff like, "Hey you, get out of your car, now." I hoped the out of there and sped off. I never saw the guy again. Moral of the story: don't sleep on the side of a deserted road.